Hello and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to be talking about SQL injection and we're going to be using damn vulnerable web application to illustrate the concept. SQL injection has been at the top 10 OWASP list for 10 or 15 years, meaning that even though we know of this vulnerability, there are still many mistakes when developers create the database because they don't do input sanitization. In that case, they're going to make the database vulnerable to potential attacks. That's why it's been in the top 10. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how it works. And also, we're going to be using Claude integration with Google Chrome to have Claude do the automated pen test for us with a few prompts. So stay for that because I believe you are going to like it. Now, let me just summarize SQL injection in a simple to understand way. Imagine that you go to the library and you ask the librarian for a title for a book and you give them the title of the book. She goes to the back, to the cabinet, and she brings that back to you, right? She or he brings that information over to you, the book to you. And that's how it should work. You're going to query something, you're going to get that information back. But imagine that you go to the library and then you request that book and you also tell the librarian, oh, by the way, send everything else you have in the bag so I can have it. So they're going to come over with the book you have and everything else, and they're going to give it to you. So that is an oversimplifying example, but SQL injections works in the same way, where there is no input sanitizations, and when an attacker sends a command to the database didn't know how to properly implement that command, or they didn't have any guardrails, I should say, and they're going to execute that command even though that command should have never been executed. That's how it is. So we have the vulnerable web application in here. We're going to go to SQL injection. Again, this is a lab environment, and I'm going to configure the settings to low so it can work. And what we're going to have here is that we're going to send a series of queries or commands to the database to collect the information that we want. And then if the database responds to the commands that we want, we're going to keep sending commands or probing that database and to see how far we can go to collect as much information as we want. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to type the number 1 here and I'm going to submit it and I'm going to see the results. And as you could see here, it's going to send back the ID of the first user, which happens to be the admin, and it's going to tell me that it is the admin, the first name and the last name. So I have that information and I have an idea of how the database is structured and configured in this case. With the second command, we're going to use a single quote or the number 1 equals 1, which is always going to be true. And we're going to hit submit here. And as you can see, I was able to obtain all the users for the database with that command. And that is pretty useful information, but just knowing the username does not mean that you're going to be able to log into a database. It would be great if we can also extract the password from the database. And the command we're going to need for that, meaning to obtain the password, is going to be a single quote, union select users, the passwords from users that user database, and we are just going to add a pound sign to ignore the messages that we could have. And we're going to hit submit. And here you have the username and the hashes of the password for each user. Now that you have the hashes, you have to crack the hashes using Hashcat or any other type of hashing or password cracking tool, but you have that information. Now, as you can see, you have to know and you have to remember the commands and the syntax that you need to type to test vulnerable web applications, or in this case, to test SQL injection. And that may be a lot of work if this is something that is new to you, or if this is something that you don't do day in and day out, right? I mean, there are many people, like I work in cybersecurity and I don't do this all the time. So thank God we have Claude, and I have Claude integrated with Google Chrome, and I'm going to use it. And that's what I want to show to you. So I already have my integration done. By integration, it's that simple. I just installed the plugin, nothing crazy. So I'm just going to go ahead and run it. And as you could see, I am running Claude on this tab in my browser, and I have my model as is. And let me just refresh my, I'm going to refresh my window one more time, or my tab. So I'm here at this vulnerable web application SQL injection prompt, right? The login box. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask Claude to analyze or to test this web application for possible SQL injections. And then I'm going to take it from there. So test this application for any SQL injections vulnerabilities, right? And that's going to be my initial prompt. Then I'm going to continue, and I'm going to send the prompt to Claude. And as you could see, it's going to start reading, and it's going to notice that I'm running this in a test environment, and it's going to know that, but that's besides the point. And let's just give it a couple of seconds. So it's going to identify the plan, and it's going to give me the plan. So something that you have to keep in mind when you use Claude add-on as part of your Google Chrome, it is not going to take action by itself. So you will always be responsible for what takes place, right? So just keep that in mind. You have no excuses. So, and it's going to give you a plan. It's going to review the current SQL injection. It's going to test basic SQL injections payloads, and it's going to know the same payloads that we use manually. It's going to do the same thing, I believe. It's going to go with or one-on-one union-based payloads. And if injectable, it's going to attempt to extract the database, the version, the tables, the columns, and all that. And it's going to document the findings. So do you want to approve the plan, or do you want to make changes? In this case, I'm going to approve the plan because it seems pretty solid to me, and it is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to approve the plan, and you're going to see how this is going to start doing the job for you. And then people say, oh, AI is not going to take somebody's job. Huh? It is taking jobs, but it's going to do all the tests for you. Like, as you can see, look at my two hands. I'm not typing anything. And it's going to go through the process, and it's going to understand by running the commands in the background. And it's going to see whether the application is vulnerable or not to SQL injection. And as you can see, we know that it is vulnerable. So let me just say a couple of things right here. You have the option of stopping Claude anytime that you would like to stop it, or close it, and that's going to be it. If you could see, look at this button right here that says stop. You could do it. So as you could see in the last screen, it already dumped the hashes for the usernames in that database. That was the last screen you saw there. Now we're waiting for the results right in here. It's testing SQL injections. And the test, obviously, it knows that it is damn vulnerable web application instance, and it knows that. And it's going to tell us that the vulnerability standard SQL injection page, the ID parameter is concatenated directly into the SQL query with no sanitization. And this is the key word. Like in my case, I don't write code, I don't write web applications, I don't do any of that. But I do know that for input like this, they do have to be sanitized, right? Like the developers need to make sure that whatever input is going to go in that field, in that box, is what's supposed to be there. Anything else should be rejected. So it confirmed that it was vulnerable, and it's going to give you the explanation right here. It's going to say that it also did blind SQL injection, and it's going to give you an explanation of what it believes it is vulnerable or not. It's going to give you a root cause, and then it's going to tell you that it stopped there. I stopped after establishing clear proof of both vulnerabilities, data exfiltration via union, and confirmed Boolean oracle via blind injection. And if you come down here, let me know if you'd like me to go further. If you want to go further and attempt different type of payload, you could say, yes, please go further. Uh, but at this point, we already know that this is a system that has been compromised, and there is no point of of looking for new exploits because we know what the problem is. Anything else, the fact that Claude says that an application is vulnerable or is not vulnerable is not absolute. You still need to do some manual verification on your own. So, how do you protect your applications if you're not the one who protects the application, who creates the applications? In that case, you have to work with the development team to make sure they follow best practices when it comes to deployment. And you can implement things at input verification. You can implement the least privilege principle. So if an account like this get compromised, they're not going to be able to access other areas of the database to obtain information. Of it is deploying a web application firewall, right, a WAF. So that's going to help you to identify this type of syntax and commands and stop them. So I hope this information was useful to you and it kind of opened your eyes to what's possible and what you can do. But most importantly, that now SQL injection makes a little bit more sense to you if it didn't make any sense before, or that is a new concept to you if you didn't know anything about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video.